In the meantime, we're keeping track of things going on south of the border. We had our Secretary of State there, our Department of Homeland Security Secretary there, and they're kind of chewing the fat with their counterparts in Mexico, trying to sort of make nice over an issue that has really bothered the Mexicans, not the wall, the president's plan to vet immigrants and to chase them down after this. All right, it is a start. The Secretary of State, the Secretary of Homeland Security are both in Mexico trying to make nice of the Mexicans, not necessarily trying to make nice as much as trying to let the Mexicans understand where we're coming from with a better vetting process that we say will probably include hiring more ICE agents to go after criminal illegals who are here. We say mostly from Mexico, not entirely. The Mexicans don't like this, think that it's bigoted, and they think that this is something they should take up with the United Nations. Whether anything happened today to ease that anxiety, I don't know. But I know Morgan Ortagus does, of course, the former State Department press officer, political analyst. Morgan, what do you think happened today? Did we ease any fears down there? Should we have? What do you think?
Well, it was the first meeting, right, Neil? So it was going to be a rocky start. I don't think there's any way after the campaign rhetoric of 2016. The president was tough on Mexico for the past year, so I expect the first one to be tough. Saying that, and especially coming out of the White House, the president's comments today, saying that, I think that this could be a real area where Tillerson and General Kelly could be a breakout star. It looks like the White House is running their Middle East and China policy. Really, out of the White House, it doesn't appear that Tillerson has been in those meetings. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for him as it relates to Mexico and Central, South, Latin America, for him to make a great deal for the administration. Remember, before Tillerson was named Secretary of State, he was lauded for the deal that he made on behalf of his company with Russia. He's negotiated deals around the world. I mean, this is a really smart businessman. So I think getting Mexico to pay for this wall is going to be incredibly tough. If you're going to put anybody in charge of negotiating this, I think Tillerson's a good choice, along with General Kelly.
Yeah, there are all sorts of ways to get them to pay for it without outright paying for it. So I understand how that works, Morgan. But they seem particularly, that is, the Mexicans annoyed about what will be a new immigration vetting thing on the part of the administration. But more to the point, anyone coming into this country, or for that matter, already here. And that some are so angry that they feel it's a waste of time to take it up with the White House, maybe go directly to the UN. What would that solve or do?
I don't think that there's really much they're going to do at the UN. I think that that's bluster. Remember that Mexico is in the middle of a political election itself. So you saw the person who was the third highest in the polls before Trump was elected is now at the top of the polls. So you see there's a lot of political maneuvering going on in Mexico. People want to be seen as being the toughest to stand up to Trump and to stand up for Mexico. So I think you have to look at the comments today on going to the UN in the broader context of wanting to be seen as being tough. I think, again, that Tillerson is going to have to play sort of the good cop to Trump being the bad cop here on Mexico, and I think it's going to take a lot of negotiations. But the most, something really important to remember is that the economy is incredibly fragile in Mexico, especially over the past few months. There's clearly a massive drug problem. There's a problem for them with Central Americans coming into Mexico. So when you look at what's going to happen over the next year of this election cycle in Mexico, we're going to need to support whoever wins in Mexico and support the current administration there because of the drug problem that could get significantly worse as the economy gets worse in Mexico. I was just in Bogota over the past few days, and the Central and Latin and South Americans are looking at Venezuela, for example, melting down there with the problems as it relates to communism. So I see a lot of problems in this part of the world where, again, I think we need strong U.S. presence where perhaps Tillerson can play a crucial and key role within this administration.
Well, they were calming figures today, both you and the Homeland Security Secretary. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Morgan, always great chatting with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Neil.